Mercury goes into Pisces February 14th, and the Sun goes into Pisces on February 18th at 2:07 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And they're just joining the party. Saturn's already there, North Node is there, Neptune already in Pisces. And what kind of party is it in Pisces? Mutable water? Well, first off, very spiritual, psychic, intuitive, getting into altered states and meditation. But watch out for the reason they call alcohol spirits is because they're associated with that. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But Pisces is the kindest, most sensitive sign out there. And it can be a little gullible, so watch out for that. So if that sensitivity does turn into self-pity or depression and guilt, make sure if you do have Pisces in your chart, make sure you've got your downer list. So if you start getting down, you can start building yourself up. Like for me, it's the gratitude. That always helps me. Now this otherworldliness of Pisces, like I said, can also be drugs and alcohol floating around freely at that party. And also there can be a little crime going on in a back room. Because Pisces also rules everything deep under the surface that we can't even really see. So that's where crime happens, is in the dark. Now Mercury into Pisces, Mercury's very mental, airy, logical thinking. So it's a little difficult for being in Pisces, which is so woo, right? But during this time, get ready for having some really good, vivid dreams and daydreams too. So take notes of these things. You may not be able to figure it out or make sense of it right now, but just make sure that you keep track of it, because when things go into Aries, it'll start making more sense. And the big old Sun in Pisces is just going to show a big old spotlight on all that unconscious stuff that's bubbling up through Mercury. So anyway, I hope you join us in the expanded version, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Mwah, 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 mwah. Welcome back to the Magical Mystery School, and thank you so much for coming to the Mercury and Sun and Pisces 2025 expanded version. Okay, but first I have to ask, how was your weekend? Did you get a lot of projects done? Well, I didn't get my taxes done, but I got started, and I'm still working on it. That Mars trine Saturn is still in effect, so I'm still working on it. And then on February 12th, we have the full moon, and we've got that Uranus T-square. So see if something exciting or something different happened to you. Let us know in the comments. I'm making this video on that day, so we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. And as always, thank you so much for all the likes and subscribes. I super appreciate that. Okay, now first off, here's just the glyph for Pisces. And can you see that there's two fish held together by a bond there? And that's what Pisces is. It's two fish swimming in opposite directions. And I thought this was so cool. I found this last year in a calendar. And look at that. It was for February. It's two fish swimming in opposite directions. I thought that was too cool. But anyway, and then lastly, here's the tarot key for Pisces, and that's the moon. And you can see there, I think if I get my face out of the way, it will focus on the card then. Okay, so we've got the wolf and the dog howling at the moon like lunatics. So Pisces is also kind of a lunatic sign too. But we're going through those two towers and straight up that path. And directly across from Pisces is Virgo. And yes, we've got the Hermit, who's the Virgo key, standing at the top of that, at the end of that trail at the top of the hill there. So anyway, that's our Pisces card. And I just wanted to show you that. So Pisces can really kind of covers everything from the sage and the artist, glamour, beauty, Hollywood, I always think of it. And it's glamour for makeup and surgery and that kind of thing too. It can be very, have that gossamer veil over everything. And it can also fall into, under the surface type behavior, so criminal behavior, and all the way down to that kind of nuttiness. So from the sage to the nutty is involved in Pisces here. Now, with Mercury going into Pisces, especially with the Sun too, like I said, we're going to be having a lot of psychic feelings. You may even feel some telepathy going on. Just remember, it's always a two-way street. So if you think you're reading somebody's mind, they probably think they're reading your mind, and they may be. And you may think, at least I do, I'm all the time thinking, oh, nobody knows what I'm thinking. And then I want to look at my face, and you probably know exactly what I'm thinking. But, that's my face. I'm a Sag, what can I say? But do remember, you're going to have vivid dreams and vivid imagination and that kind of thing during this time. Now, Pisces, again, on that kind of more negative end, they can they're very, very sensitive, so they can very easily get hurt. And then when it gets way over there, they can kind of get into that paranoid situation. In fact, one of the little catchphrases for Pisces among us astrologers is poor, poor, pitiful Pisces. They can't ever seem to get over their heads above water and that kind of thing. Pisces also, addiction is part of Pisces. Now, I see addiction, though, more with Scorpio, because that's fixed water, and that addiction, that fixity, you can't get out of that, addictive pattern that you're in. Whereas with Pisces, it's mutable water instead of fixed, so you can flow, that kind of thing. And I also remember that alcohol is called spirits, and Pisces is spirits. So you can kind of see where all this sort of, this otherworldliness starts to come into play here. I have a quick story. I met a couple friend years ago, and the husband was an alcoholic, and the wife one time, she literally drove him to a rehab place and basically said, get out of the car and go in there and quit drinking, or I'm leaving. Now that's very Scorpio. That's very, the ultimatum. But he did. And when he came out, as far as I know, he hasn't had a drink since, and that's been, decades ago. But he has become a physical workout addict. I mean, this guy, he's like running marathons, doing Ironman, bicycles, swimming, running, you name it, he's doing it. And, it takes a lot of time and energy and that kind of thing. But his wife has never complained once. She said, I'd much rather him out somewhere running up and down hills than in the basement drinking, right? So, kind of think about, with Pisces, you can kind of pick your addictions a little bit easier. Another one that I thought was really interesting is that Einstein was a Pisces. That really surprised me. But he also said, let yourself dream, let yourself be creative. Give yourself time to daydream. And I do really encourage everybody, do this all along, even if it's just 2, 3, 5 minutes, to sit there with your coffee or whatever and just stare out the window. You'd be amazed. Okay. And with Pisces, one of their saving graces is really to serve humanity. So if you do have a lot of Pisces in your chart and you do ever feel that kind of downness, go out and help somebody. Be a volunteer somewhere. That will feed your spirit, will feed your insides. Now, and I said I was going to go over a few more of those downer tips. So like I said, like for me, if I start feeling down, I'll just literally, I'll start going, I love my car. I'm so happy where I live. I have my health. Just start with small baby steps. And that kind of thing can really feed my spirit. And some other things, well, like I said, exercise, just getting out there and moving and grooving can really, you don't have to be doing Ironman, but, just getting out and moving your body and getting out in nature. just look at the clouds. Maybe if you're in a city, you know, find a little park or that kind of thing to commune with. And last, if when you're feeling down, or at least I do, I always try to find something funny on TV, you know, or some funny movie or something like that, just to help me laugh. Oh, there's my bells, and I think that's a good point. I'm gonna put you on pause. And, well, that wasn't too bad. I'm going to put you on pause and we'll look at the wheel next. All right. See you soon. All right. Here we go. And here I put the Pisces key right over here so you can kind of look at that and you can see who's sitting behind there. And I'm still struggling with trying to figure out how to do lighting correctly. So if anybody has any good ideas, let me know. Because if I left this laying flat, there'd be so much glare on it, you couldn't even see the card. So that's why it's propped up a little bit. Anyway, okay, so here comes the sun out of Aquarius and into Pisces on February 18th. And I'm going to put just a little corner in Pisces because we got a ton of stuff in Pisces to try to cram in here for sure. And then here comes Mercury on it actually went into Pisces before the sun on the 14th, so, but it is moving so super fast right now. It's literally going about 2 degrees a day. It went into Pisces on February 14th, but it's going to make it all the way to Aries by March 3rd. That's only about 2.5 weeks. That's crazy that it's going that fast. But what I wanted to show you is all the aspects, because Mercury is going to literally be aspecting every single planet from Pisces. Oh goodness, sorry about that. From Pisces into Aries here. So the first thing it's going to do at say about 11 or 12 degrees Pisces, and I'll just put Mercury right here, or maybe I should put him actually, no, that's fine, I'll just put him right there. Okay, the first thing Mercury's going to do is going to square Gemini down here Jupiter down here in Gemini. So here we go. Here's those two mutable signs, mutable water, mutable air, so they're making a square. And whenever I think about Jupiter, you know, I always use the T-double-O, right? Because it can be too much. Now with Mercury squaring it, there may be, from Pisces, there may be some confusion. We really want to make some big plans for the future, right? But just kind of keep the brakes on a little bit, not too big, not too fast. Because with that Mercury square Jupiter, you may have some fabulous ideas, but maybe too fabulous. So keep an eye on that. Write them down. Keep going for sure. Then Mercury from Pisces is going to trine Mars, which is down here in Cancer, right? And it's still retrograde. It's not going to go direct till the 23rd. But so this is water to water, so that makes that nice, smooth flowing energy there for sure. So we may start seeing some results of what we're fantasizing about. You know, we may get some reality here with this trine and from Mars here. So, and Mars is right around 17 degrees. So we may start seeing some thoughts turning to things around this time. So hopefully we'll see. Then on February 23rd, oh no, that was February 23rd, I'm sorry. And also on that same day, Mars will go direct. And I'm going to talk more about that in detail next time. Now, what happens on February 25th is that Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces. All right, so that's going to be kind of a wake-up call for us. Oh, and let me also say one of the reasons I'm kind of going over this in such detail is with the sun right behind Mercury. Just keep in mind, the sun is going to make all these exact same aspects. It's going to square Jupiter, it's going to trine Mars, it's going to conjunct Saturn in the same order here. So that's kind of why I'm going over this, because remember, with Mercury, we're going to be thinking about these things. We're going to be mulling them over in our mind. And with the sun there, our consciousness is going to be shining right down on it, so it's going to make it even more intense. So I was saying that the Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn on February 25th, about 21 degrees. And like I said, this will bring us even more into reality. You know, we'll start to see what's true, what's not true, what's illusion, what's logic, what's fantasy, what's reality with that Saturn there. I mean, it's all still in Pisces, so keep your feet on the ground, but hopefully we'll be getting some sort of more feeling of solidness with Saturn there. And then the next thing Mercury's going to do on February 27th is it's going to sextile Uranus down here in Taurus, okay? So here we go. There's that water, earth. Remember, the sextiles are always, water, earth, fire, air, earth, water, air, fire. That's always going to be those two elements are always going to make a sextile to each other. Well, when they're on either side of the sextiling planet basically. So anyway, this is going to could be a real wake-up call, especially between Saturn and Uranus here. Something may be coming out in the news that sort of shakes us up, Uranus, a little bit, and sort of gets us back into reality. And that same February 27th, that's when the new moon in Pisces is going to be. So of course we'll be talking about that a lot more as that approaches. But just wanted to let you know. And then also, as Mercury keeps moving along here, and I'm going to keep these two together because they are so close together, the North Node and Neptune. The North Node is like at, I think like 27 degrees Pisces, and then Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is going to be like at about 28 degrees Pisces. So literally on the same day, and that's going to be in March 2nd, Mercury's going to hit both of these. Okay, boom, as he, Mercury, so we kind of consider androgynous here, will be going into Aries then on March 3rd. Then, once Mercury gets down here, we'll go ahead and move him down here then into Aries. Remember what I said, whenever a planet first goes into a new sign, look and see what that does to Pluto. Because we still have Pluto sitting up here for all of 2025 between basically 0 and 4 degrees of Aquarius is Pluto sitting up there. So very, very early. Now, when Mercury went into Pisces, that was only 30 degrees away. That's called a semi-sextile. And to be quite honest, it's a minor aspect, and I don't use it very much. I'm sort of putting a chagrin look on my face here. Probably some other astrologers would say, bad girl, bad girl. I don't know. But anyway, so then as Mercury gets down here to Aries, so then we've got that fire air, right? So Mercury will be sextiling Pluto, okay? And that's going to be happening March 5th. And again, just remember, the sun's going to be coming through. It's going to be doing all these exact same transits. And then last but not least, if you remember from last time, Venus went into Aries. So on March 11th, that's quite a ways away, but Mercury will be conjuncting Venus here in Aries. Remember her red mini skirt? Okay. I like that. Anyway, and all of these planets, that's the other thing I want you to kind of keep in your mind. All these Neptune, North Node, well, not the North Node, it's going the other direction, but Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, the Mercury, they're all coming down here into Aries here in the next few weeks. So things are going to shift a lot. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, this could be some real good news as far as technology goes, science. Maybe some discovery will be announced. I'm gonna look for that one myself. Now let's see. Very quickly, I had a question about planets, signs, and houses. And I just want to real quickly, I have this more in more detail in my astrology for beginners, but just to let you know, the planet is the energy that's being expressed. Okay? Some people liken this to like a theater show, like the planets would be an actor, and then the sign that they're in would be like I think of it like as the environment. And when we use that theater analogy, it would be like, is this play set in, modern United States, or is it medieval Europe, or is it on Antarctica? Where is it happening? And that energy that the planet is in will color that. Because I know it's so confusing. You've got planets, signs, and houses, and they all have overlapping meanings, right? And now for the houses, now I'm always showing this with Aries on the first house cusp, but that also means Aries is ruling this first house. So the first house has very Aryan attributes to it, just like the eighth house here is ruled by Scorpio, the house of sex, death, and other people's money. So that same idea can be translated to the ruling planet of Scorpio is Pluto. The old ruler was Mars, and Scorpio rules this eighth house. So think of it as, and the house is kind of like the house is like the area of life that you're actually working from. So this would be, sex, death, and other people's money. Other people's money would be inheritance, investments, how are you doing, that kind of thing. Sag rules, international travel, are you working that energy of whatever planet happens to be in the ninth house, but it's colored by the sign it's in. So I kind of wanted to just go over that very quickly. So that's plenty, too much probably, but I did want to add that one last little thing. Okay, everybody. Next time we'll be talking about that new moon in Pisces and other things, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye for now. Bye.